The media often manipulates facts, taking elements of truth and distorting them to create a more sensational story. Michael Jackson, for example, was repeatedly accused of inappropriate behavior with children, and many people believed these accusations without fully considering how the press had long been attempting to tarnish his reputation. In a rare interview, LaToya Jackson, Michael's sister, warned the public about the manipulation behind these stories. She explained that Michael had confided in her, saying that powerful people in the entertainment industry, including executives at Sony, were behind the smear campaign. Michael feared for his life, believing that if he died, it would not be from natural causes, but as a result of those who wanted to silence him. Jim Carrey, in a 2003 interview that resurfaced, expressed his support for Michael Jackson when the rest of Hollywood was distancing itself from him. Carrey not only defended Michael, but also revealed disturbing information about the people who had targeted him. Carrey suggested that Sony Music and other powerful figures in the entertainment industry were orchestrating the smear campaign to ruin Michael's career because he was starting to expose the corruption of these elites. Carrey called these figures soulless and monsters hiding behind contracts and cameras. In addition to publicly defending Michael, Carrey allegedly warned him directly about the powerful forces working against him. This revelation hinted at a larger conspiracy involving the entertainment industry. As the story of Michael's death unfolded, questions arose about the strange circumstances surrounding his passing. On June 24, 2009, just one day before his death, Michael's doctor, Dr. Conrad Murray, administered several medications to help him sleep. When these failed, he gave Michael propofol, a potent anesthetic, which eventually led to Michael's death. The official cause was a fatal dose of propofol, and Dr. Murray was charged with involuntary manslaughter. However, many of Michael's fans did not accept the official story, believing that Dr. Murray was a scapegoat for a much larger plan. Dr. Murray had been hired by AEG Live, the company behind Michael's planned comeback tour. Though it was initially claimed that Michael had requested Murray, it was later revealed that AEG had hired him, and Michael had never signed the contract to approve his employment. LaToya Jackson, in her statements, also suggested that Michael's vast music catalog made him a target. She recalled how Michael had confided in her, saying that he feared for his life, repeatedly stating that "they're going to kill me." She mentioned that Michael had pointed out individuals within his circle whom he believed were manipulating him and controlling his finances. In 2010, the Jackson family filed a lawsuit against AEG, arguing that the company was negligent in hiring Dr. Murray. During the trial, Michael's son, Prince, revealed how his father had been under intense pressure, even stating that someone was trying to kill him. Although the jury sided with AEG, fans still believed that there was a more powerful figure behind Michael's death than Dr. Murray. These fans remain convinced that there is a deeper, more sinister story hidden beneath the surface of Michael Jackson's tragic demise. And that belief only grew stronger when The Sun published handwritten notes that Michael supposedly wrote just weeks before he died. In the notes, Michael wrote, "They are trying to murder me, and the system wants to kill me for my catalog." And that's when Michael's daughter, Paris, started calling out Sony and John Branca, the man who was in charge of MJ's estate. Paris liked a bunch of tweets that blamed Sony and Branca for what happened to her dad, including one that said, "We've been telling you the truth for 7 years. Shame on any of you who sided with Michael Jackson's murderers." Now, here's something important to know about MJ's relationship with Sony. Michael literally thought Sony was evil. He had serious issues with the company and spoke out against them more than once. On top of that, he actually outsmarted them and ended up owning half of their music catalog before cutting ties and going independent. As an artist, I've generated billions of dollars for Sony, several billions in fact. They always thought my mind was only focused on music and dancing, and to be fair, most of the time it is, but they never expected that I, a performer, could actually outthink them. Now, I'm leaving Sony as a free agent, and I own half of Sony's music publishing. In other words, I own half of their publishing assets. This has made them extremely angry, but all I did was make a smart business move. Their way of getting revenge is by trying to sabotage my album, but I've always believed that true art, real, good art, never dies. And as for Tommy Mottola, he's a bad person. He's a devil in the music industry. He's a terrible human being, and we have to keep fighting until he's removed for good. But hold up, we're just scratching the surface here. Before Sony allegedly tried to get rid of MJ, some sources claimed they first tried to ruin his reputation by framing him for a horrible crime, one that stuck with him for the rest of his life. And the idea that Sneddon had such a vendetta again, in my opinion, that he would charge Michael Jackson with the abduction and conspiracy charges, in addition to alcohol and, applying the kids with alcohol and all of these other charges, which amounted to 14 counts against Jackson, was proof positive for me, later, that Sneddon was out for any kind of blood he could get. If anything could stick, he was going to throw it out there, no matter how ridiculous it was. And so, the conspiracy really is a conspiracy, in my opinion, between the media and the DA to make Michael Jackson appear to be the guiltiest person on the planet. Now, this theory that MJ was set up isn't new, but recently some fresh info came to light during the legal drama involving Diddy. So, back in February 2024, one of Diddy's former producers, Lil Rod, filed a lawsuit and claimed that Diddy's head of security, Fahim Muhammad, had strong connections with law enforcement and helped cover up Diddy's alleged crimes. And get this, that same Fahim Muhammad also worked as Michael Jackson's head of security, and he was there the night MJ died. What's even more surprising is that during Dr. Murray's trial, Fahim said he had only been hired as Michael's head of security about 10 months before Michael passed away. How long did you work as Mr. Jackson's security guard? About 10 months. What were your duties? I was in charge of his security. My job was to make sure his house and children were safe, and to plan and ensure his daily activities were secure. Now, here's another surprising part. When Fahim took the job as Michael's head of security, he had just finished college with a business degree and was only around 20 or 21 years old. It's hard to believe that the king of pop would pick such a young person with no real security experience to protect him, but maybe Michael didn't pick him after all. Journalist Ian Carroll suggests that someone else might have hired Fahim and just claimed it was on Michael's behalf. For most of Jackson's career, his head of security was Bill Bray, who was his mentor and basically his father, and the two were extremely close. Bill ran his security until he was 70, when he retired, and Jackson continued to pay his medical bills until he died at age 80. But then, once Bill retired, Jackson was then protected by other security people that came and went. And he wound up with this guy who has direct connections to Diddy's blackmail operations, who was directly complicit in covering up crimes for Diddy and covering up Justice human. This is the guy who was protecting Michael Jackson the day that he died, the day that he overdosed on, after he was probably already asleep. And the only witnesses there were no witnesses to the crime. I'm honestly kind of surprised that this guy never got checked into as a suspect. The narrative surrounding Michael Jackson's final years and untimely death continues to spark speculation and controversy. A theory gaining traction suggests that a man named Fahim, who was linked to Jackson's security detail, may have had deeper connections than initially understood. According to commentator Carroll, Fahim might have had ties to intelligence agencies, prompting some to question whether he could have been a celebrity handler, a concept popularized by comparisons to Harley Pasternak, Kanye West's former trainer, who once threatened to have the rapper institutionalized. Based on this line of thinking, there are claims that efforts to frame Jackson for crimes he did not commit ultimately failed, leading to more drastic measures being taken. Further scrutiny has been cast on Fahim's credentials. He graduated from Sacramento State University in 2008 with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, focusing on real estate and marketing. Just 1 year later, he was reportedly serving as the head of security for Michael Jackson, a role many view as unusually high profile for someone with such limited professional experience. The fact that Fahim was later invited to speak at the Wharton School at Penn State, often mentioned in discussions involving ties to intelligence circles, has only fueled speculation. Parallel to these developments, actor Jim Carrey's behavior and public comments have been increasingly re-examined. Once a dominant force in Hollywood, Carrey appeared to step away from his career after making a series of controversial remarks about the entertainment industry. In a 2018 interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Carrey openly criticized the influence of corporate entities in show business, stating, "My plan was not to join Hollywood, it was to destroy it." His disillusionment seemed to stem from witnessing what he described as widespread corruption and manipulation behind the scenes. This was not the first time Carrey had hinted at darker undercurrents within the industry. At New York Fashion Week, he he made headlines for ridiculing the superficial nature of celebrity culture. Shortly thereafter, an appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live went viral when Carrey referenced what he claimed was a secretive group controlling Hollywood. Using what appeared to be a symbolic hand gesture, Carrey accused the entertainment world of being manipulated by elite forces. While many in the audience laughed, some have claimed that the laughter was added in post-production to downplay the seriousness of his statements. Further controversy surrounded Carrey when, almost exactly 1 year after his Kimmel appearance, his then-girlfriend Catriona White died of a suspected overdose. The incident escalated into a legal battle when her ex-husband accused Carrey of supplying the prescription drugs involved in her death. Carrey denied the claims and issued a strong statement indicating he believed he was being targeted. The lawsuit was eventually dropped, but the impact of the event seemed to mark a turning point in Carrey's life. In 2022, he officially announced his departure from Hollywood to focus on painting. In light of these events, some observers have drawn parallels between Jim Carrey and Michael Jackson, suggesting that Carrey, too, may have been the target of an orchestrated effort to discredit and silence him, a process now referred to as being Michael Jacksoned. The resurfacing of a rare interview in which Carrey defended Jackson has only intensified these theories. In that interview, Carrey reportedly expressed his belief in Jackson's innocence and claimed that powerful figures in the entertainment industry sought to destroy Jackson's reputation due to his attempts to expose them. This complex web of events raises broader questions about the entertainment industry. Do powerful entities deliberately frame or discredit high-profile individuals who attempt to speak out? Are careers derailed and lives endangered to preserve certain interests? These questions continue to provoke debate among fans, researchers, and media analysts alike, as more individuals begin to question the accepted narratives behind the lives and deaths of global icons like Michael Jackson and the actions of those like Jim Carrey who have attempted to pull back the curtain.